of the business news. And first up, the fortunes of BlackBerry, Marcus.
Indeed. Hi there, Claire. Hi there, everyone. The Canadian company used to almost define smartphones, but rivals like Apple and Samsung overtook it years ago. BlackBerry issued its latest quarterly figures this Friday, and for the first time since 2007, quarterly sales fell below $1 billion, and its quarterly loss came in at $423 million. Still, analysts say it could have been a lot worse. Jennifer Lush takes a closer look.
Fresh losses for BlackBerry. In what's become almost ritual, the Canadian company's posted a $423 million fourth quarter net loss. But despite the news, the alarm bells have stopped sounding. The company's on sounder financial footing today, insists the smartphone maker's chief executive, and things are going exactly to plan. Chen took the reins in November, revamping BlackBerry's executive ranks, speeding up redundancies and cutting company costs. He also introduced a marked shift in focus, from a smartphone company to a software business. In December, the firm signed a deal to farm out its manufacturing operations to the Taiwan-based Foxconn. Chen can now concentrate on BlackBerry's mobile device management business and popular messenger application. The latter, previously useless on anything but a BlackBerry, has since been opened up. The software now available to Apple and Android devices. But even if BlackBerry manages to recover some of the ground it's lost, the once $20 billion company that changed the face of the smartphone business is likely to only ever be a shadow of its former self.
And BlackBerry shares traded up in the immediate aftermath of those quarterly results, but the gains fizzled out and BlackBerry shares ended 7% down over on Wall Street. The story was similar for the wider market on Wall Street. The trading day started strong in the United States, but the indices lost some of that steam. Still, though, the Dow Jones Industrial Average ending with gains run about a third of 8% up. Now, European indices also closed in positive territory. Take a look at the Frankfurt DAX, for instance, up almost 1.5%. Hopes of more stimulus measures in both Europe and China also help the markets on both sides of the Atlantic. Let's take a closer look at that part of the market story today. Investors, they're hoping that the threat of deflation will trigger the European Central Bank to act next week. This as Spain reported its first fall in consumer prices in more than 4 years. Spanish prices were down 0.2% in March. It seemed to raise the prospect of the Eurozone heading for a deflationary spiral. That in turn has seemed to raise the pressure on the ECB to do more to stimulate the economy at a policy-setting meeting next week. Now, a statement from the Chinese Prime Minister has also helped the markets globally. Li Keqiang has said China was preparing targeted measures to help the economy. It comes at a time when the world's second biggest economy is seen to be cooling off. Analysts say China's government wants to show it's ready to act if necessary. Let's talk you through a few other stories that we're following for you. Air France KLM is selling the Ireland-based regional airline CityJet for an undisclosed sum. The buyer is a German company that specializes in turning around airlines and then selling them on. Europe's biggest airline group put up a loss-making CityJet for sale back in 2012. CityJet will still operate some flights out of Paris for Air France, and the two carriers will continue to cooperate on services from London City Airport. Staying in the airline world, pilots at the German flag carrier Lufthansa are set to walk off the job 3 days next week. A union called for a strike on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday as part of a long-running pay dispute. Lufthansa is calling for talks to avoid the walkout. It was already hard hit this week when ground staff at German airports went on strike. And finally, if you're in the market for a second-hand luxury car, well, look no further. In a bid to crack down on government waste, Italy is selling off a total of 151 cars on eBay. The cars include BMWs, Jaguars and Maseratis. The sale is seen as an attempt to show that the government is responding to pressures to cut spending. And Claire, when I took a look a few hours ago, the highest bid for one BMW was 18,000 euros. You tell me whether or not that's a good deal, because I don't know at this point.
It's not striking me, Marcus. I wouldn't be rushing to try and nab that. Marcus Carlson, thank you very much for bringing us all the business news. Now it's time for Media Watch here on France 24, and I'm joined by James Creedon in studio. Hello, James.
Good evening, Claire.